a Ukrainian father holding his daughter in a subway shelter, a Taiwanese student practicing what to do when the internet disappears, a family in Gaza sifting through rubble that used to be their home, a soldier on the line of control in Kashmir watching an enemy he's never met. 4 tragedies, no shared border, no shared cause, but they're connected. And the thread starts with an essay published in a Harvard journal in 1993. A professor warned the world this was coming. Nobody believed him. Now here's the part that should actually bother you. What if he didn't just predict it? What if his idea helped build it? Sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a bomb, it's an idea. November 1989. East Germans tear down the Berlin Wall with hammers and bare hands. 2 years later, the Soviet Union dissolves without a single shot fired. Political scientist Francis Fukuyama called it the end of history. Liberal democracy had won. The big arguments were over. From here, the world would get richer, and it would do it by trading instead of fighting. Samuel Huntington disagreed. He'd spent his career studying why societies fight, and he thought everyone was looking at the wrong layer. Not politics, not economics, identity. In 1993, he published The Clash of Civilizations? His argument, the Cold War hadn't ended conflict. It had just peeled back one layer of it. Underneath, something older was still there. Civilizations, bound by religion, language, and memory, not governments. And once ideology stopped dividing the world, those older loyalties would take over again. The question would stop being, which side are you on? It would become, who are you? That sounds harmless. It isn't. You can negotiate over taxes and borders. You can't negotiate over who you are. Huntington split the world into roughly 8 civilizations: Western, Islamic, Cynic, Hindu, Orthodox, and a few others, and said the next century's wars would break out where they touch. He called those seams fault lines. Edward Said tore the theory apart, calling it a crude sort of putting billions of people into boxes. Other critics pointed out that history's worst wars were mostly fought inside a single civilization, not between them. But many powerful people believed it anyway. That's where this stops being about a magazine essay. There's a term for what happened next: a self-fulfilling prophecy. Believe something hard enough, act on that belief, and your actions make it true. After 9/11's, Clash of Civilizations stopped being an academic argument and became the news. Politicians in Washington and militants in Al-Qaeda training camps started using Huntington's exact language from opposite sides. Both agreed they were representatives of civilizations at war, not just governments in conflict. That's the paradox this whole video is built on. Huntington wrote the theory as a warning. He wanted people to see the fault lines and root around them. Instead, it became the justification for driving straight into them. A map showing a cliff can also show you exactly where to drive off it. So let's check the map against right now. Ukraine. Huntington wrote in 1996 that Ukraine sat on a fault line running through the country itself. Pro-Western in the West, Orthodox and Russian-oriented in the East. And that this made it one of the most likely places on Earth for war. The full invasion started in 2022. By 2026, it's a grinding stalemate. Russia calls it a defense of Orthodox civilization. NATO calls it a defense of democracy. Both framings are doing real work. Taiwan. Huntington predicted China would eventually stop accepting a world order written in Washington, and that Taiwan would become one of the most dangerous flashpoints on Earth because of it. Chinese warships now circle the island almost daily. Taiwan is testing blackout drills and converting civilian factories for wartime production. It's also a fight over semiconductors and who controls the Pacific. But Beijing calls it Chinese unity. Taipei calls itself a distinct democracy. That's the fault line, drawn to scale. The Middle East. On February 28, 2026, the US and Israel struck Iran, killing its supreme leader in a Tehran bunker. Iran answered with hundreds of missiles. The Strait of Hormuz, a fifth of the world's daily oil supply, shut down. Prices spiked everywhere, thousands of miles from the fighting. On paper, it's about a nuclear program. Both sides talk about it like a civilizational contest for the region's future. Kashmir, April 22, 2025. An attack kills 26 tourists. India blames Pakistan. 15 days later, India strikes across the border. 4 days of missiles and artillery follow. the worst fighting between the two nuclear neighbors since 1999. The ceasefire is still holding, barely. What keeps this fault line from becoming the world's worst is the one thing both sides can't ignore: nuclear weapons. 4 fault lines, 4 live wars, 1 map from 1993. Here's the uncomfortable part. Every one of these wars also has a mountain of causes that have nothing to do with civilization. Taiwan is a fight over semiconductors. Kashmir is a fight over water and a border drawn by people who left in 1947. Iran is a fight over nuclear proliferation. Ukraine is a fight over NATO and gas pipelines. Identity doesn't start wars on its own. Politicians reach for it because it's the fastest way to get ordinary people to accept sacrifice. Underneath, these are fights over land, resources, and power, the kind that could be managed instead of fought in different hands. The essay didn't cause these wars. It gave 2 generations of leaders a script for talking about them. And scripts have a way of writing their own ending. One more thing, almost nobody brings up. In 1998, Iran's President Mohammad Khatami proposed the opposite theory: dialogue among civilizations. Not inevitable conflict, but active understanding. The UN adopted it. 2001 was declared the year of dialogue among civilizations. Then September happened, and the world picked the other framework. We can't know what the last 30 years looked like if it had gone the other way. But we can ask which framework we're choosing right now. Huntington died in 2008. He never saw any of this, but he drew the map 15 years early. Did he describe the world accurately? Or did enough powerful people read his description and build the world to match it? Probably both, feeding each other. Here's what his critics got right, though. This isn't physics. It's not gravity. It's a story. And a story can be rewritten. Subscribe if you want more of this. The ideas that end up running the world. The ending still being written.